So I preached a sermon talking about feeding the poor. Well, that was part of the sermon. And then I finished the sermon and took some plaudits and compliments. And then God said, well, you're not doing this, are you? So, yeah, then it was like, can we do this food bank? Yes, get on with it. And God's really blessed it because it's something we're supposed to do. And it's not difficult. We're doing the easy part. God's doing the hardest work, which is softening hearts and getting them into this building. What I always do as well is I write the shopping list on this leaflet here, and then I leave it in the trolley for the next person. So if they get my trolley and they pick up this leaflet, it's going to tell them why you need Jesus.
So since you started Food Bank, is there any I guess any one of the stories that really touched you in the time that you've been doing it?
So what, from like people that use the food bank?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this couple called Nick and Lee, and they first come in, and Nick had bruises all over his face, and they both stunk at alcohol. They've both said they're drug users, and as time's gone on, we see them for a couple of weeks, and then they disappear. But Nick came in a couple of months ago and said he looked completely different. He's stopped drinking, stopped all of the other stuff, and he's actually got a job. And he was just explaining like he thinks God's working in his life. So it's these sort of things where we constantly sow into people week after week. Him and his partner Lee being a perfect example of that, and stuff happens. And then they come in and say, oh, I think it's God. And then we're in a position to say, yes, it is, mate. Because we've been praying for you. Yeah. And of course, that's one of the most amazing things that we talk about as a team, is that we get to pray for these people. Yeah. So when God moves in their life, they're like, what's going on? Yeah. And they've got no idea that we've been praying this whole time. Yeah. And then of course, we've got like these individuals that we pray for regularly. It's going to Booker's wholesale now. So there's certain things like bread, milk and sugar we get from a wholesaler because they're actually cheaper than Asda. Surprisingly, Asda's a lot cheaper than the wholesaler on the majority of the things we get, or unsurprisingly, I guess. So we get all of our tin food from Asda, and then we get the perishable stuff from Booker's. Today it's our barbecue, so we're going to also get some frozen meat and barbecue items as well. As the food bank's gone on, I've always seen the food bank is just an extension of the church. So for example, we have youth on a Friday, that's the church. We have dance on a Thursday, that's the church. We have food bank on a Tuesday, that's the church. It's just the church being the church.
I've been doing helping out at the food bank, 2, 3 months, 4 months, something like that. It's like, wow, we're like helping people. We're, encouraging people have come here, and we got at least one I know that's coming to this church now, that's been encouraged just through the food bank. So it's a kind of witnessing thing as well.
So we have a lot of people who volunteer and serve on Tuesdays, and these are people, some of which are on the peripherals on a Sunday. So for me, I just think it's seeing people being released into a gift they've already got, which they haven't showed or used at this point. And they're able to do that because Food Bank is a smaller gathering with a smaller group of people, and there's opportunities for one-on-ones. It's such a privilege because there's a hunger to do that. And everyone here doesn't have to be here. The same with all people that serve in this church. People are here because they want to be here. And they're really, really eager to get on with things, which takes a massive weight off my shoulders. I'm like, yeah, please do. Last week we had a quiet week. This week's busy. We've had weeks where it's been exceptionally busy. We've had weeks where it's been quiet. We've had weeks where it's been somewhere in the middle. But we have a regular bunch of people who come frequently, albeit not necessarily weekly, but every week we have different people coming in. We have people from different backgrounds. We have a lot of Muslims coming into this church. We have a lot of atheists coming into this church. We have a lot of people who have no identity in any, in any religious thinking or whether they're atheists or any sort of thing. So it's just God sending in a bunch of people that are basically searching for something. Whether they know it or not, that's what drives me, because it's a case of we don't know who's going to come through the door. We've already had a baptism from somebody that attended Food Bank. We've already had, I think, 3 salvations at least from people that have attended Food Bank. So if this Food Bank wasn't here, that probably wouldn't have happened when it happened. And that means lives have been changed. So yeah, that has to be the driving force.